Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP. And it is cold and I'm tired and I wanted to be cozy, so that's why we're sitting like this. Taking a shower took all the energy, like the spoons that I had for today, which really sucks. Today was a holiday here in Sweden. Most Swedish people don't know why we have a holiday. It actually is because it's the Epiphany. It's the day where the three kings go and visit Jesus with their presents. In France, it's a day where you eat cake. And there's a little figurine, like in porcelain, that's put in the cake. And if you are the person to get that piece, then you become king or queen for the night. I really love that cake. It's like almond paste, like frangipan. I don't know if it's called frangipan in English. I really love that kind of cake. But you can also get the cake in like apple pie version, or you can get it as just like a brioche bread. I kind of miss that tradition because it's kind of associated with my parents' birthdays are around this time. My whole family, like their birthdays are in January, except for me, that's in November. So we would kind of get tired of cakes after a while because first comes Christmas and New Year's, and then comes everybody's birthday and this holiday. Anyway, I finished this Swedish book that was about Grand Hotel, which was kind of like Downton Abbey, but Swedish version. I love the different intrigues, different people's lives, different social classes in the early 20th century, so 1900 and 1901 and that kind of thing. They talk about the Nobel Prize and that kind of thing. It was pretty long, 15-hour audiobook. I don't think it was worth 15 hours, but it was really good book. I also got this book at the library, Piranesi, which I think I'm going to read soon. I got it from BookTube. I actually am watching BookTube videos now. Mostly people who like to read classics, because I want to get into big classics, like serious books. I'd like to get into Les Miserables. I would like to read, Crime and Punishment, War and Peace, or Anna Karenina, one of those like big Russian novels. I would like to read one of those someday. I don't feel like brave enough to pick up such a big book. Either that or Count of Monte Cristo. It's hard for me to read big books. And so I want to know like what motivated these people on BookTube. So those are the people that I kind of look at. But so Piranesi is supposed to be one of BookTube's favorites. So I'm going to try that. Unfortunately, I'm kind of tired also because I started reading this book about like the Autism Handbook by Katarina Sandgård, which is the best handbook for adults with autism. It is unfortunate that it's the best because it isn't 100% great. That's the thing. It's good. This person who wrote it is a specialist, a psychologist and psychotherapist, and specialized in neuropsychology. So she is good. However, I think that I have been chronically online in the autism community on YouTube for far too long, and I have been kind of radicalized in the sort of things that come up in the community. It's not bad, it's not like I dislike that, but I kind of have other ideas on autism than this author has. And it's kind of problematic, you know? I do want to go through the CBT, like different worksheets that she has in the book and all that. I do want to do that. However, I can't help but feel like she talks a little bit condescendingly at times. Like she is, it's like she's kind of telling you how to mask, which kind of triggered me. Like, if you don't know about autism, if you haven't read other books about autism by autistic people, she's not autistic, she's an holistic person. If you read books by autistic people and all that, you will recognize that what this author is presenting is how to mask, you know, but it never says the word masking or anything. It talks about coping strategies, but yeah, it's kind of insidious in that way that like it presents itself as like, this is helping you get through life. And sure, masking does help you through life. But, you know, I think that if this is directed towards adults with autism, I think that the adults with autism, first of all, have already tried masking and realized that it hasn't worked for them, or it has worked but taken a lot of energy out of them, or that they're interested in finding a better balance in their lives rather than working on masking, you know? And at a certain point, you know, like maybe as a teenager, you might be confused about like, oh, why are people using so much subtext, you know, or why, you know, why does everybody want me to a shower regularly, you know? As a teenager, yeah, okay. You might not be completely aware of like what the world is. However, I find that I am very aware that people want me to shower every day. And this book is not helping me to do it. You know, it's just kind of shaming me into doing things because the neurotypical world requires it, not because it will make me feel better or, you know, that these things are from an autistic perspective, you know. So I'm kind of missing the autism perspective. So I had a thought of maybe doing a review of the book, but now I don't know, because it kind of, I tried making a video, and I felt like my words were stuck. Like I felt like if I was going to talk about it more, I would go into a shutdown. So I'm not going to do that. I guess I won't talk about it, at least for a little while. I'm going to be going to the neurorehab later this week, and it really scares me, because I can see like two different problems. Either I'm like so like pointing out my problems and people think that I'm overreacting, or they think that, oh, I need tons of help when I really don't, you know. Like I don't want people to barge into my autonomy, you know. I think that that's a pretty common thing with disability, that, you know, this resistance towards getting help, I guess, but also, you know, wanting to maintain an integrity. I don't want people barging into my house, for example, and telling me what to do, or being judgmental about the way that I do things. So there's that. And there's the fact that I always get into misunderstandings. So, and then there's also the fact that I could be so nonchalant and say that I manage a ton of things when I really don't, and I'm trying to keep a brave face because these are new people that I'm meeting, and then like they don't give me any help, and then I go home crying. It's kind of like the scenario that I think is going to happen. So I want to be like as clear and as realistic as possible when I'm talking about the problems, but it's very difficult for me to like voice these things in a way that's satisfying, So I don't know how that's going to go. I wrote to my best friend about it. He just told me to be clear, which, like, yeah, thank you. That's kind of what I want to do, but I don't know. Whenever I say, it seems like nobody is on my same wavelength. So yeah, that's kind of the dilemma I'm in right now. I spent all day like just on the couch and sitting in the kitchen. It's like all I've been doing all day. And like I'm already breaking my New Year's resolutions because, or it's not a New Year's resolution, it's a resolution I've had for several years to leave my apartment every day. I've done this for several years, but I can't do it every day. Today was not that kind of day. I watched a vlog by Pons. She made 4 vlogs, and I watched them all. Albeit, I think that I'll say that the last ones I kind of went on like 1.5 times speed, because each of them was quite long. I don't know. She put all of them live at the same time, so like I had to start from number 1 to number 4. And yeah, there was a lot that I related to. And I am glad that I did not go to my parents this Christmas, because I talked to my mom now on Skype. First time in like 3 weeks that we've talked. And I'm glad that I did not see my family this Christmas. Basically, my grandfather is really, really losing his memory, and it's without a doubt he has dementia, and he has Alzheimer's in his family, and so his sister had really bad Alzheimer's, and his mother had really bad Alzheimer's. So I think that's what's happening. I don't have a good relationship to my grandfather, and I think in general his personality is kind of shit. So I usually want to avoid him anyway, but it seems like dementia is kind of making his personality worse in a way. Like all of his flaws are amplified, in that he is quite a, not just stubborn, I mean I'm stubborn, I'm fine with that, but irritable guy. He's an irritable guy. He has no patience, no tolerance for other people, and it's just worse now. And he blames everybody for everything already, and now it's worse, because often when you get dementia, you start blaming others on like, oh, where do you put that? You hid it from me, that kind of thing. He was already kind of irresponsible with money. Now, a little bit scary of what he's going to do if I'm going to get anybody from my grandfather now. He lives on Canary Islands, so he put himself into a situation where it's very difficult for us to have any control over what's going on. Yeah, and I don't think he ever goes to the doctor. He is pretty, that's the thing, is that his body is very healthy for the age that he is, but his mind is not. And yeah, apparently there was no way to get like a normal conversation out of him. Um, he's much more inside himself, like introverted, than he used to be, which he was already quite introverted. And yeah, a lot of incidents of him losing his memory. So, and my mom was forced to be there for 10 days, which is kind of my feeling every time I go there for Christmas, is that I'm stuck at my grandfather's house for 10 days because it's hard to come back to my hometown. I need to have the key and I need transportation, and yeah, so it's not very practical. Like, I wouldn't have been able to visit my friends anyway. So I am very glad I didn't go, but I was feeling very guilty. And, you know, hearing all this about my grandfather getting worse, even though I dislike him as a person, I still feel sorry for him, you know, and I still feel also kind of threatened by this because, in the practical sense, I know that, you know, my dad will have to take a lot of time off work, or there are lots of practical reasons why it's not good. And yeah, it's also, it is sad, you know. It doesn't matter if it's somebody that you like or not, you know, it is sad. And I felt a twist in my stomach, and I felt like I couldn't breathe when she was telling me about this. I mean, I've been suspecting it, but so I'm glad I didn't go. I told my mom so. I said, I'm glad I didn't go, and she was like, yeah, I understand. So yeah, I don't think that my mom understands that it's also them, it's also my parents, but to a lesser degree. Um, I couldn't be around anybody, least of all my grandfather, this Christmas. Um, I do miss them. I miss my parents and I miss my brother. Um, so, yeah, I don't know really how to fix this, but it did tire me out having that conversation with my mom because I realized, oh, you know. And so I watched Pons Christmas at home. I watched Dana Anderson having New Year's on her own, but she was having a lot of fun on her lives, and I used to have a lot of fun on my lives, and I really don't anymore. um, I don't know what it is, but I'm glad that she was having fun. Um, like, she has a Discord and everything. I think I'm in a period where I need to, I don't want to self-isolate, but I need to think of a different strategy going forward. Like, I can't just keep, I don't have so much expendable energy, you know? Like, I don't have enough IRL support to like make it through as usual. I don't want to get burnt out. So here we are, I guess. So that's all about this depressing video. I'm going to, I have 2 weeks left at the geriatrics, where I will be going to people's houses. Somebody else drives me around. I'll be driving to people's houses and going to take care of old people, basically. So I have 2 weeks left. Then I go to the gynecology department. I am very scared of my medicine placement at the end of this year. I'm not supposed to think that far in advance, but I need to, unfortunately, because yeah, I want to prepare myself. And you know, all of the things, like I'll have to put my life on pause for 6 months, and not for the right reasons, because I would like to put my life on pause for like a month or two, um, to take care of myself, and instead I'll have to take 6 months to do the most intensive, awful placement that there is at the internal medicine clinic at the hospital. You know, being at the emergency room and all that. And yeah, I'll manage, I guess. But it's kind of like goes against the plans that I want, you know, for myself, for my health. And there's no way out. And that is quite distressing for me. Because I've told you guys before that I wanted to do this placement at another town, but I wasn't allowed to because the region doesn't have a budget for that. So I'm stuck in this situation where, you know, if I want to keep my job, I have to do what they say. And yeah, that really worries me a lot. It also worries me that, you know, for my job, I will need to learn to drive a car. And I cannot drive a car. And I don't want to spend my precious time learning to drive a car because it's so draining on me. And everything is just very difficult. And I haven't left the house today, and I kind of, you know, past me would have gotten angry at myself for it. I'm trying to like give myself some grace, but it's not easy to not be angry at yourself when the world moves on, you know, like I can't, there's this feeling that I can't just rest because the world won't wait for me, you know? And, you know, I'm quite young. There's so much I haven't experienced, and then, you know, I have to sit at home and like feel sorry for myself for some reason, you know? And even if I try to like pull myself up by my bootstraps or whatever, that comes to bite me in the butts later, you know? How? And I can't really see a sustainable way moving forward that works. So I hope I have a better day tomorrow, but I'll be at work. You know, I can manage things and do things, and I am brave and strong. But sometimes I just feel like my energy has disappeared. There's nothing left of me. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.